we have a very, very interesting subject to talk about. Today we are talking about deploying simple workflow automation for law firms and legal departments, a practical guide. And I am delighted because our speaker is in the house. We are ready, is pumped and ready for this session. But before we go ahead, I would like to call on Mr. Fernandez Marcus-Obiene, the chair of the Technology and Law Committee, for his welcome remark. Fernandez.
Um, my lords, Leonard Silk, committee, session, execs, co-members, ladies, gentlemen, and there are 30 members of the fourth estate of the ring. I recognize you, but I've not seen any. We're very happy to be here. It's been a very long journey from when we started and when we got here, and we've had very many success stories. So I'm very grateful to be here. I'm grateful that you are here to join us. I welcome you all to another wonderful session of the SLP. This, as Damilola said, this is our last session before the annual general conference. We will resume after the conference. In fact, what we intend to do after the conference is we intend to do a schedule so that publicly on our website you're able to see what sessions are available. So in advance, you can prepare yourself and make up your mind because you might be interested in um, data protection, but otherwise you may not be interested in one other session. So you'll be able to see in advance and plan yourselves months in advance, really. So thank you very much for joining. And I'm speaking on behalf of the chairman of the SLP committee, of course, Mrs. Alabi, who unfortunately is not here. Unfortunately, is not here, but extends her greetings. Now to the session, a few housekeeping rules. First of all of the things we've been discussing, everything on we've talked about for this session from the beginning to end, it's not going to be relevant or useful to you if if you don't already understand the ethical considerations, the ethical requirements of using them. So it's important that we all understand this. And as we all know, what the SLP did and what the NBA has approved was last year during the AGM. There were 4 sets of guidelines for the use of technology in Nigeria. So there's the one guideline for the implementation of information technology systems for legal practice. There's guidelines for the use of AI. There are guidelines for their data protection guidelines, as well as cyber security guidelines that were approved by the NBA and are effective now. A announcement has been put consistently online so that you're able to see and access it. So before I continue, I'd like all of us to take 1 minute to visit that link and to download those guidelines if you already haven't. So I'm going to give 1 minute, and then if you somebody will not tell me after 1 minute, I need to receive like 5 messages indicating that they have downloaded those things, and then I can continue with my announcements. So the 1 minute starts now. Again, we're visiting the link. The link has been shared. It's in your chat box. We have 1 minute. So Fadekemi okay, as it's being shared. So it's the second link, number 2. The number 2 link. Please click on it and download. The link for number 2. Thank you, Joy. So 1 minute is almost up. So I've had one person tell me she's downloaded. Are there any others who have downloaded? And 1 minute is up. I'm just waiting for confirmation. Okay, thank you. So please do well to read those guidelines. They are important. We've done them in a way that they're not difficult. They're not like the laws that are enacted in Nigeria. They're user friendly. They're easy to understand. Not too long, to be honest. And then I'm sure if you look at those, you can be able to understand. Now, what the reason why we have that is we've seen a lot of people who use AI for different reasons. We use technology for different reasons, and we've seen a lot of violations. We had cases where people are using ChatGPT to to get authorities which are wrong. And I can tell you from the beginning that there are a lot of fake authorities that are out there. We have cases in the US, in Nigeria. We also have people who are drafting things that are illegal, that are not lawful things, or not according to the law, but because ChatGPT says so. A lot of the things that are on the various things that we see on the AI are actually foreign generated. So we use them for our these things. Sometimes we don't do enough supervision of the work that we're doing. So this sort of is a step by step on what you need to do to be able to use all these things properly. Now, if you're not yet a member of the MBSLP, please do well to join. The link already is on the this thing portal.nbslp.org. Please do well to register to be able to continue to enjoy these sessions. And we have other sessions. There's a litigation committee, a bunch of other committees. You should do well to register and pick a committee so that you can join the activities. Very important. The third point is that some people might say, I'm not a member, I'm a member of the SBL or I'm a member of SPDL. So, no, you can be a member of your branch. You can be a member of any number of sections. So, the fact that you're a member of SBL does not mean you can't be a member of SLP. It doesn't mean you can't be a member of the SPDL. So, for me, for example, I'm a member of the Lagos branch of the Nigerian Bar Association, very active member. I'm also a member of the SBL, but not so active there. But I'm very active and I'm a member of the SLP. So you can be in as many, you can be NBA Women's Forum, Lawyers with Disability Forum, YLF, etc., and still be a member of the committee. Registration for the committee is not expensive. It's 5,000 for younger lawyers. I'm not sure the age bracket is. Fadikemi will confirm. And then 10,000 for older lawyers. And that's the entire yearly expense that you're paying. And you have access to all the resources, our trainings, our webinars, our free resources, articles, newsletters, things that you can use for different reasons. We also have different packages. So, for example, there is an AI, there's a law practice software that we are going to give members of the MBA who attend our session at the SLP, which is taking place on the 27th of this month, as a session at the MBA conference. Now, we're going to allow them free 1 month access. Is it 1 month? Free access. I'm not sure it's 1 month. It could be more to certain AI, this thing that are being launched there. So that and a number of other things. Of course, Olayemi and I were discussing earlier this year that they are going to work on a software, an automation software for lawyers, and we're going to give free access to members of the SLP for a period, and then reduce access. So these and a lot more other benefits are things that you derive from being a member of this section. So please do well to register and become a member of the MBA section on legal practice. Our AGM comes up on the 20. Our session comes up on the 27th at 3 o'clock at the MBA conference, and then after that, the following day on the 28th, we have our AGM at 9 a.m. So please do well to attend. There's a transition to a new leadership. Thank you very much. I think I've spoken too much. I've taken too much of your time, so I'm now going to sit back. One more notice. For those who are talking about CPD points or who intend to get CPD points, as the session goes along, we'll bring the link for the CPD points. Remember that the points are only valid during this session. After the session, it's no longer valid. I know some people share to WhatsApp group to get other people with. We are now trying to take active steps to ensure that you have to have been in the session properly before you use it. So please don't share it to anybody. Thank you very much. And I hand over to Damilola and the people that you came here to see. Have a great day.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Fernandez, for that. So we keep reposting the link in the chat box. Please keep try to keep attention on the chat box. We'll repost the link, and then you can keep the downloads of the guidelines going. But we have to kickstart this session. So once again, our speaker for today is Edward Olayemi. I mean, by now we should be thinking of conferring Edward with an honorary membership of the SLP. SLP Technology and Law Committee, because of how often we have had to benefit from his wealth of knowledge and experience. I mean, it was at the SLP conference. So I'll just take very quickly Edward's bio. Edward is the head business intelligence and visualization at Access Bank Nigeria, where he drives data-informed decision-making through innovative analytics solution. He previously led the insight and analytics team at First Bank of Nigeria, and held multiple roles at Octave Analytics and Insights Limited, where he served as both senior data scientist and manager of the data engineering team. With over a decade of experience, Edward has built a strong track record of delivering impactful data analytics projects across academic and private sector environments. is a versatile interdisciplinary researcher known for leading transformative initiatives for major commercial banks in Nigeria. Edward's area of expertise include data science, analytics, consumer value management, data engineering, business intelligence, and cloud architecture. Edward also has a growing portfolio in developing agentic AI solutions, autonomous intelligent systems capable of making decisions and executing tasks independently. His work reflects a forward-thinking approach to artificial intelligence and its integration into enterprise workflows. Edward combines technical excellence with strategic insight. He excels at bridging the gap between data infrastructure and business impact, making him a key figure in the evolving landscape of data and AI leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Edward Olayemi. Now, before Edward goes into his presentation, as customary, we'll be launching our SLP poll. So yes, kindly look at your screen. The poll should be showing on your screen right now. Now, this you might be wondering for the first timers, you might be wondering why we have to fill the poll. As a committee, we strive to make data-informed decisions, like Fernandez announced, in curating, for instance, the next session of events we'll be having in the next 2 years for you. So this information is what will guide us in knowing what sort of programs and sessions to curate. So please fill the poll. It will only be on your screen for 2 minutes and it will be out of your way. So please, we're still waiting for responses. Kindly fill the poll. I'm sure you should be able to see it on your screen by now. Yes. So the first question, what's your call bracket? Kindly indicate the bracket for your year of call. Second question, have you ever used an AI tool in your legal work? For instance, for research, drafting, analysis. Number 3, which legal task do you think is most suited for AI support in Nigeria? Question 4, would you trust an AI-generated analysis in advising a client on the likely outcome of a case? Thank you to everyone who is filling. I can see the responses. Question 5, what is your biggest challenge with adopting AI tools in your legal work? And the last question, in 5 years, AI will have what kind of impact on Nigeria legal practice? So please keep your responses coming. Yes, participation is growing, please. I mean, we still have less than half of the participants who have filled the poll. So please take the poll. It should be displaying on your screen right now. Yes, kindly fill the poll. Thank you. Keep the responses coming. We're counting down. We have about a minute left. Please take the poll. Or if you're unable to see it, it could be your internet, because we're getting responses already. So the poll should be on your screen. Yes, in 30 seconds, we'll be closing the poll. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so I've been asked to give an additional 1 minute. Yes, we're still collecting responses. If you're yet to fill the poll, kindly fill the poll. Let's have your responses. Let's have your input. Okay, so if you're not seeing the poll on your screen, then should I say that's a technical glitch on your end, because we're getting responses, meaning people can see the poll and they are able to fill it. Okay, so when we hit the 200 mark of respondents, I think that will be a good point. That will give us a good number to sample for data. Thank you to everyone that's filled the poll. Yes, in 30 seconds, please, let's have our responses coming. If you're unable to see the poll, that will be a technical glitch from your end. Thank you to everyone that has submitted. Thank you. Okay, so at this point, we'll just, so I'll call out the responses we have gotten so far. The first question, what's your call bracket? 14% of the participants on this call are persons between 1 to 5 years post-call. 19%, 6 to 10 years. 23%, 11 to 15 years. And we have the largest number from persons between persons of 16 years post-call, 16 years and above. And we've observed that in most of our webinars, this particular bracket is always having, our participants are mostly from this particular bracket. I mean, I'm wondering why. Question 2, have you ever used an AI tool in your legal work, for instance, for research, drafting, analysis? 41%, yes, regularly. 35% occasionally. 10%, I've tested it, but I don't use it. 15% is saying no. Question 3, which legal tasks do you think is most suited for AI support in Nigeria? 68% legal research, 17% drafting contracts and pleadings, 11% document review and due diligence, 4% compliance and risk analysis. Question 4, would you trust an AI-generated analysis in advising a client on the likely outcome of a case? 4% yes, fully. 64% is saying yes, but with my review. 23% maybe, depending on the case. 9% flat no. Question 5, what is your biggest challenge with adopting AI tools in your legal work? 23% lack of training or knowledge. 23% cost and access to tools. 11% poor infrastructure and internet. 43% ethical or professional concerns. Question 6, in 5 years, AI will have what kind of impact on Nigerian legal practice? 49% of our participants saying it's going to be transformational, it will redefine how we work. 45% believes it's going to be significant but limited to certain tasks. 4% is saying minimal, the system won't adapt quickly. 2% is saying negative, more risks than benefits. And the last question, which AI have you used in the past in legal practice? 71% have used ChatGPT, 10% Gemini, 3% Claude, 1% DeepSeek, 16% others. Thank you so much. Now we are back to, okay, so now we're back to the presentation, and Mr. Olayemi, you have the floor.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Please, can you confirm you can hear me?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for having me, and it's good to be here. So happy. And so today we'll be speaking on streamlining legal operation and simple workflow automation. So I'm not going to make it too official. I want to feel at home here because I think this is my second presentation here, especially on this series. So I think I want us to be calm so that it's not going to be too technical, and so that we can all flow along, right? One thing for me is that because I'm a very lazy person, yes, I'm a very lazy person, and to get my work done, I learned how to automate them very early when I started my career, right? Keeping in mind that anything you do today, there are ways you can automate them for time saving and for process efficiency, right? So that is my own background, and I love it, right? Not because we have ChatGPT or probably AI, but automation is something that all of us in our day-to-day activities, especially some of us that will do repetitive tasks, why don't we employ a system that can help us do that seamlessly and with giving us enough time to do more productive activity for the business, right? So today we are going to be talking about some workflows available, some tools that we can use to automate, right? And we're also going to break it down and into some simple and daily automation that we can also do ourselves in our place of work, and also some other tools available either at small scale or as enterprise level. All right. So so that's an overview. So and like I mentioned, we have some agenda for today, right? I think I've just walked us through the agenda, right? And like I started, right? There's always the good part of automation, right? And the first thing is that, especially we in the legal domain, is that we understand that manual legal tasks consume significant time and resources, right? All these legal tasks, like things you keep doing over and over again, like document review, billing, client intake, and some reviews, right? Because sometimes we get some documents going up to 200 pages that we need to review. We are trying to look for loopholes in document, a lot of things that will take a lot of our time, and especially in legal research. I see from the people that we have some significant number of people that use AI for legal research, like things like that, and I can tell you they're always time consuming, right? And that is why we need some level of automation. Either we use a rule-based automation, or we employ what we call the AI-based automation, leveraging the likes of LLM into our system to help us automate our process. Another thing we do automation is because of human error, right? Because human error will frequently occur, right? Because when you do something over and over again, you tend to overlook some major important clause in the document, because you are familiar with a lot of documents, and most of the time you think all of them are the same, whereas the other party drafting that contract or drafting that document intentionally put in one little clause that would favor him more, or probably that would create some level of exposure for your client or for the business, right? And that is why we want something that can help us in automating the process, and especially automating the review. And also keeping in mind, where I currently work, the legal team came to me and said, "Okay, Edward, I want you to help us create one of the simple automation tool we created for them was to create a scheduled reminder for them that can remind them that, okay, if there's a court case, if gives them, for instance, if there's going to be a court case, we set up the reminder such that like you get at least 4 reminders before that day, so that you can adequately plan. So nobody needs to go to one Excel or go to one document to say, okay, hope we are not missing anything. There's a system that we've automated for the legal team that listens to their schedule and tell them that, okay, hello, legal team, you have this case on this date, and this is the status and the likes, right? And the reason we did this was that the main objective then was that, or the issue at hand was that most of the time they missed out on some critical court cases, and they said, okay, we don't want to miss out. There are some judgment passed behind us, and there's a financial implication to this, and that's where we came in and automate some sort of a reminder for them, right? And what led to this use case I mentioned is because we are human and we can easily forget things. We can easily forget that, okay, we have a court case tomorrow, or probably there are some important activity or important action we need to perform, right? But when you employ a system, you are not missing anything. Then it's going to make your process seamless. You're going to have a minimal risk in your day-to-day activity, right? Another thing is that we understand that client demands are very fast, right? Yeah, because clients want something very fast. They have a document and they want you to review it. Now, people are always in a hurry. They want to get it done now. And before now, you need to go through a lot of lengthy documents, but now all of you have a system, right, that you can just push the document. So I know during our last one of the sessions we had, right, we talked about how we can use all these tools are available. And the beautiful thing about the world of AI and automation is that you can integrate your review into your automation flow, whereby you call the endpoint, the API endpoint of your ChatGPT, integrate it to a system that reviews for you. Yeah, I think I do a lot of automations for myself. But yeah, you call the agent, and the agent is able to help you review on the fly. And with that, you are sure that you are able to provide a very quality report, a very quality review to your client, right? And another thing is that, like I mentioned, it saves a lot of time, right? So with implementing workflow, I think time saving is one of the key things. And this is not into the legal space alone. Across all our day-to-day activity, anything that you do manually or probably is a repetitive task, the best way is find a way to get it automated, right? And I remember sometimes what earned me one of my role in my previous place of work was because I was able to automate a one-man job, like a one-man job, what somebody will come to office to do every day for 30 days and get paid was automated with just some lines of code, right? It saves a lot of time, it saves resource for the business, and it makes the work more efficient. We deliver value faster to our customers. And like we mentioned, it's also going to improve accuracy, right? And also enable us that, okay, we are compliance to regulatory standard. And like I mentioned, one of our third points, which is saying, okay, we need faster. Customers want things in near real time. They want things within the shortest possible time. So automation will always help you do faster delivery your automations, right? It's going to help you deliver your review very fast. All right. Now, to the next thing on our agenda is making us understand what are the key areas that we can automate, right? And as simple as, so today I still find it very funny, especially in this technological AI age, and where we have technology all around us. I still see people using paper to do their onboarding. They want to do registration. You still need to fill a document. I think at this age, I think nobody's, I think maybe from my own perspective, I think going through any paperwork is going to be very boring, and it's going to be archaic, because we have a lot of tools that can help us do a lot of things. Now, for instance, now automating your client onboarding with e-forms. All of us, at least I know at least 90 to 80% of us would have what we call the Gmail. We have a Gmail. And with your Gmail, you have what we call Google Form, right? So even I think that's the first basic automation, right? At this point, you don't need to scan a document, send it to somebody, scan and the likes. You can just create some level of just a Google form, right? Using your Gmail, and you create the Google form, you share with your client, the client fills it, you get the feedback. And the interesting thing about that is that it's going to enable you to keep track of your data, and also for future analysis, you want to analyze the pattern, the trend, and you also understand some pain points of your customers. With the data being automated, you can easily analyze and also make some informed decision. And the interesting thing is that you can also integrate this to your customer relation management system, such that you have those forms. You can, and let me say, because so that I won't use big words and think, okay, these things are buzzwords. So for instance, now you can manage your customers, probably your own customer relationship management system is still your WhatsApp, right? Whereby you engage your customer. So what if you just still on your WhatsApp platform, you share those links to your customers and the likes. And do you also know that the simple WhatsApp you have for customer engagement, do you know there's an enterprise version of it, such that you can automate a lot of things? I know we built one automation around WhatsApp also sometimes ago, right? So, but the area of we getting information from our customers is very key, right? If a customer wants to review a document and you automate it, there's a portal, there's a link that you can just share with them. And like I mentioned, your Google form can take up a file. You can upload files into your Google form. You can upload images into your Google form. And yes, you can upload it and you get it, right? And with that, you can have it structured in your back end for future review. And that's one. And also, another thing is that automated document drafting, right? And that I think most of us will be interested in that, right? Automated document drafting. So now, the world of LLM, the likes of ChatGPT, Gemini, and the likes, DeepSeek, Grok, they made life very easy, right? And the interesting thing about them is that, like I mentioned earlier, they all have what we call the API endpoint. So you don't need to go to the cloud. You don't need to log into what we call it, log into the web browser, right? With some little integration with pulling some system together, you can pass a document to your API. So, hey, can you please help me? So anytime there's a request, okay, now let's start with this so that we don't disconnect the flow. So let's imagine, I want us to build a scenario. So let's imagine that your client, you have an e-form that your client can upload documents through. And for that one, you are using the likes of, what do we call it? You are using, let's say, Microsoft Form or Google Form. Fine. So once the client submits the form, if the form contains a document, the document is saved on your drive, probably on your OneDrive or probably on your Google Drive, right? So do you know from your Google Drive, especially if it's a document that needs review, do you know from that point, you can have an automated system that can understand that, okay, the client has mentioned that, okay, hello, Edward, kindly help me review this document. The system understand the content of the ask. So it knows that what it's needed is a review. So it picks the document, perform a review, and send you. It's not going to send the customer, right? It picks the document, understand the ask, and acts on that document and review the document, right? After reviewing it, it sends you a review document with notes, with footnotes, with observations, with loopholes, and the like. And you can then you can go on to say, okay, yes, you can just do your own second level review and move on and probably share the final version to your client, right? So those are things that are possible with automations, right? And for those of us that make use of Microsoft, right? Microsoft Suite. Do you know that you have your Copilot license, right? So, and I think for developing the Copilot, integrating the Copilot, probably that one is just a bit technical, but you can consult tech companies that can help you set up the integration, right? Whereby you can, if everything you're building is within the Microsoft Suite, you can also make use of the Copilot, and you can develop the flow from collecting data to reviewing the document, and with that you'll be able to save a lot of time. Another thing is that you can do some level of what called automated billing and invoice generation. So because see, one thing I love, right, is I like automation such that I build a system that does at least 70% of my task for me. So I just come and review. Automated billing is also something that you can do. And keep in mind that these things are simpler than we think. And for instance, now it's going to be a rule based, right? Probably you can have a document to say, okay, this is how I bill per project. So, okay, if I'm reviewing a document, this is how I charge it. If I'm drafting a contract, this is how if it's a contract relating to probably house contract or probably asset, any form of asset, you have a document that highlights how your business operates, your business model. Interesting thing, you pass all these documents as a knowledge base into your system, and the system is understand that, okay, this is my boss and this is the rule and the instruction my boss, because human are the boss, right, of this agent. He understand that, okay, my boss has given me this guiding principle, and he picks the guiding principle and use it to create a billing invoice for the customer. So even before you review, at least the system sent out the billing for the customer. So, and the customer can then come back and renegotiate and negotiate to say, okay, please, I can't afford X amount. Can you do X minus 1, X minus 2, right? So these are things automation can help us do in the legal space, right? And we have a lot of other areas, right? Automated task assignment, right? And deadline reminders, right? And this is one interesting thing. This is one interesting thing. And I'm going to speak to one of the tools, okay? We're also building, like Fernandez mentioned during the opening remark, right? So there's a tool we are also building for automated deadline. But at least I've worked practically and it's live today. Where I currently work, automated reminder, right? That listens to our emails and being able to say, you have missed this document, you've not read this document, these are the actions you need to take, right? Because my team, I think they have over 3,000 documents they need to review, and sometimes they missed out on some, right? But since we built this, we're able to help them keep track of all documents, all major actions, all major activities that need their action, right? And another thing is that you can implement workflow triggers for court filings and client email updates, right? So for instance, now, if you need to set up a reminder for your clients, right? You can build something that remind your client to say, okay, I'm expecting this from you. And let's assume there's a court date scheduled probably for the end of the month, and you need some documents from your client, right? Do you know there can be an intelligence system around your mail that tells you that, okay, you need to get this document from your client, and it tells you, okay, should I trigger a reminder mail to the client? And you get a notification, and with a click of a button, you can just send it to the customers, and the customer gets it, and it's going to help the customer take necessary actions, right? And I think the automated deadline and appointment scheduling can flow together, right? Because they are date dependent, and these are things automation can do for you. And interesting thing, if you need to have it, it's another hand is that it knows that, okay, you have a court in 2 weeks time, and automatically it logs it to your calendar, right? Because it has access to your calendar, and automatically it logs it to your calendar. You have access to it on your phone. Your phone is always notifying you that, okay, in the next 2 days, you have this appointment, or probably there's this case you need to attend, or this court date ahead of you, right? And one thing it can also do, which is also close to the automated client email update, is also enhancing communication with clients, right? And with this, right, it's going to help you improve what we call the satisfaction, client satisfaction. Your clients will always be happy, because when you communicate well, you communicate promptly to your customers, they have some level of satisfaction, and such that you did not miss out on anything, right? And those are areas we can build automation. And everybody will agree with me that if you're able to build this kind of automations on your daily activities, like things you do every day, I can tell you for sure that you are going to enjoy your work even more, and even you are going to enjoy being a lawyer, right? Because you have enough time for your friends and families. You have enough time for probably to bond more with your families, right? And these are priceless value automations can give us, right? And another one tool that is handy for me is Power Automate, right? And Power Automate is by Microsoft. You have a free tier, right, that can automate your process. And the interesting thing is that you don't need to build it from scratch. There are a lot of templates for you. Just plug it to your emails and it starts working, right? You're not going to build the templates yourself. You just search the Power Microsoft Power Apps or Power Automate App Store and say, okay, I need an application that can read, that can check my calendar and remind me. Just like that, you are going to see hundreds of applications people have built, and Microsoft is also continuously adding to the pool, right? So you can try this, and the integration is seamless, especially most of us that uses the Microsoft suite in our place of work, right? That is always readily available for us. You can explore with the free version, and you can also start with a starting cost of say $50 per month, and I think that's just some thousands of naira, which is going to help you. Just imagine 15, let's say about 30,000 max, right? 30 to 33,000 per month. It's going to helping you to automate your task. Just imagine you employ a clerk or somebody that works for you, and you're paying that person 30,000 thereabouts, right? And that person is doing, and this tool is being able to automate the flow for you, sending you reminders, sending you updates, telling you review process for you, and making your life easy and making your job more effective, right? And that is that. So if you're looking for a tool to use, I think Microsoft Power Automate is one of the low-hanging tool, because this tool, I've used it myself, right? And it's currently working for me, right? And also for in case you have task management, you want to manage your task and the likes, Asana is also there, right? These are tools I've used, right? And I've tried, and I see that, okay, it can make my work very easy, and it has some level of robust task management and workflow automation. So when a task is flowing from Mr. A, B, it tells you, it notify you on completion, a task has been completed. You set that, okay, once this task is done, it should flow to the next person. So you understand how it is being flowed, that how the process flow. Probably in a bigger organization, you have the first level review, the second level review. So the automation or the task management is able to tell you, okay, the document has gone through the first review, then it has been passed to the next person, and once the next person in line act on the document, probably perform the second level review, it flows to the next person, and the work looks very seamless. And the interesting thing is that it's going to send everybody notification on the stage and the position of the document or the task you're currently running, right? And that's that. Another interesting tool, which is also very, very robust, is monday.com. They have a lot of suite of automations from HR to legal to finance, right? So these are also tools that we can explore and see how it works, how we can integrate them to our daily activity. And actually, and all these tools, right? You have, so just imagine monday.com, you can, per user, you can still go as low as $8 per user per month. So our employers, right? So all of us are online now. You can start checking, right? Just start looking out for these tools and start looking at what are things you can do with these tools, right? And I can tell you that you are going to find them very interesting, and they're going to make your work very easy, right? And I've said a lot of things, right? And I just felt like, okay, let me add some pictures so that we see an example of a solutions, one of the tools, or let's say automation workflow, right? And I'm just I want us to note some major workflow, right? And like I mentioned, one of the things automation can do, you can automate, is your document review. Keeping in mind, right? So we're going to start from the human interface, right? So human interface is where you input a document into a system. So that's our start point. Okay, probably you upload your document, like I was giving an example of when you deploy your Google form to get some data for you, and your client can upload that document. Probably there's a contract they want you to review. So just imagine a client upload a document and say, okay, Mr. XYZ, can you please help me review this document? So the moment your client upload that document, so that's on the email interface, that's where you collect your data. And the next thing that happens is that your AI can work on it, right? So those ones we see that are purple, those are AI embedded automation or probably processes, right? So it can ingest that data, ingest that file, and understand, okay, what is the request, and create some execution strategy, right? And once that is done, it keeps it in some of knowledge base, right? I don't want to boss with a lot of technical words, but just so that we can just understand the flow. Once the knowledge base, because keeping in mind that any AI solution or probably AI-based automation we are trying to build, there's always the knowledge base. There's always the knowledge base. If there's always the domain you want it to learn from, right? And once the system is able to understand, interpret the request, it knows that, okay, the client needs a review, or the client needs your client needs you to draft a contract. It gets that information, keeps it in the knowledge base. And the next thing is that if it's a review, the next thing it's going to do is that it's going to do what we call the document analysis, right? Analyze the document. And once it analyzes the document, it's going to identify important information and also evaluate the legal implication. Understand, okay, what's the legal implication of this document? If it's either a review or probably a draft, it keeps everything in mind, right? So after keeping everything in mind, it creates what we call the document analysis. So the output, what you're going to see is some sort of document analysis where you see the semantic representation, the concept, and the document structure. So at the end of the day, just imagine, right? Just imagine something that from the user interface, the first thing you as a lawyer sees is just a well-analyzed document with some level of recommendation and thorough review, right? Which you can probe further, right? And that would have saved you a lot of time interpreting the request, even sometimes misinterpreting. Sometimes we get some requests and sometimes we misinterpret the concept or probably what the client is requesting. But with this, what the first level of output you see is a well-reviewed document. And once that is done, it can generate based on the action, generate some further document. And at the end of the day, it checks what they call the accuracy of the document, so that you can also pass it to say, okay, based on this accuracy, yes, I can let it go, right? So these are things. I just want to tell you that everything we do daily, right, with automation, we can reduce time spent by at least, let me just, not to exaggerate, by at least 70%. So if today your process, your review, your documentation takes about, say, 7 or 10 hours, with automated solutions, you can reduce them to at most 3 hours. And with that, it's going to make you more productive, have more time to think outside the box, review more cases, learn more, and win more cases, right? And that is that. And interesting thing, like I mentioned, one of the solutions that is going through pilot testing, right, is one of our automated solution that can integrate to your Gmail. So let's assume that you get notification, or probably your clients engage you through email, right? So the solution can integrate to your Gmail, understand the content of that email, extract there. If there's any attached document, it's able to extract attached document, review the document for you, set calendar for you, knows that there's a court date. If there's any date, it knows that, okay, you need to respond to this information or to this mail in the next 24 hours. It locks it into your calendar. And with this, you don't miss out on important information. And currently, the solution we are currently building is powered by ChatGPT, though also working on ability for it to work or use Llama 3 for on-prem, so that information are not exposed. Remember, during our the last time I was on this session, we mentioned things around data privacy a lot. So we need to keep in mind any solution, even any automated flow we are building. We need to keep data privacy at the core of anything we are building, right? Never trust all these LLM, especially those online, 100%. If you have the capacity to host it on-prem, yes, you can host it on-prem and automate this process, right? So those are things that are possible, and I can tell you it's going to make work very, very easy for all of us, right? And if you want to build one, right, and probably you are thinking, okay, because it is not just about building one, it's about understanding the steps and the stages it takes to build one, right? And the first step is that you need to identify key legal processes or stages, right? What are the key processes that you like to automate? And what I'm saying here is that you need to map out what we call the essential steps, right? What are the major steps? You need to understand that, okay, my customer engaged me on this platform. After the engagement, what I do is I review. After reviewing, I need to do a second level review. I need to draft this. I need to identify the pain points. I need to identify the loopholes in the document. You just need to at least give a logical flow into what your process looks like, especially your day-to-day activity. And those ones that you see that are repetitive, that's one you're going to automate, because we are saying you need to automate some repetitive administrative tasks, and which is in function of, say, implementing automation to handle routine tasks, right? Things that you keep doing over and over again, like your normal flow, right? You can automate it, and at the comfort of your house, you are just getting your review document. And I can tell you, it can be very interesting, and it's going to make work easy, especially for me, right? Like I mentioned, maybe during my last session, I said I enjoyed automation, and I mentioned when I was starting this call that automation, because I'm a bit lazy, right? In quotes, I like automating a lot of things. That's why I research more on automation, right? And sometimes I just wake up at the middle of the night and I see job done by my automated system, automate a lot of things, even my entire data analytics, right? Like entire process, entire data. When you say entire data analysis, for me, right, that I deal with normal daily, I have it automated, right? It just goes out and perform the analysis for me, set some rules, and at the end of the day, I just see insight and share with my stakeholders. And when people see emails going out, I can tell you, maybe on average daily, I have nothing less than 40 automations going out. And when people keep seeing my name, okay, they will think Edward is very efficient. And that's efficiency, and I'm able to add value to the business. They're able to take actions. They know when there is a problem. The system is there for them. And yes, they see things working out, right? And that's the power of automation. Understanding repetitive tasks, then automate it. And for us in the legal space, all right. So I think I'm farming you guys, right? So for us, right? Yes, in the legal space now, document management system, that's another thing which we can do. And like I think I've mentioned this over and over again. The system can integrate to our documents and review it. And another thing is that like Asana, that can help us in what we call collaboration between team. The first level review, the second level review, there's a flow that is reminding everybody these are things you want to do, these things are pending on your queue, and it's going to help collaboration work seamless, right? Another thing is that monitor workflow performance, right? So once after you build it, right, you can monitor the workflow performance and be sure that, okay, the workflow is working as expected. And also at the end of the day, you are ensuring compliance with legal standard, because anything we do and that is not compliance with legal standard, data privacy, and AI policy and the likes, we need to review them. We need to ensure that we are compliant. Anything we do that is not compliance, at the end of the day, it's going to come back to bite us, right? But I know we are legal people. We are people that understand the law and understand the impact of compliance and how we must be compliant in all we do in our daily activities. So these are the flow, starting from you identifying the process and also ensuring that the process you are building does not violate the standard principle that governs your work, right? One of these standard principle that governs your work is the privacy of your data. At no point should you have exposure that would implicate the organization. at any point. At any point, all the process must be reviewed with 100% attention to details, right? Because by the time you implement a wrong process, that is amplifying the error in a multiple of 1,000. Because it's error from the beginning, you are just multiplying the error by 1,000 because you don't know the implication and the loopholes, the data breach and the compliance breach that could, at the end of the day, bite into the company, get sanctioned into millions. So for any time we're integrating, we're building automation, we must ensure the compliance standard, right? And like I mentioned, right? So if you're planning to implement one, which I believe that's why we are here, right? And keep it to tell us that these things are possible. We are not going to come here to tell us that, okay, these things are not possible. Yeah, I can tell you it is simpler than you think, especially when you have the right team to build it, or probably you have people to work with you on this, right? And from my previous slide, I think this is just like an extract from my previous slide, which is you need to identify, access your workflow needs. What are things you need, right? Like I mentioned, you need to identify the steps, right? And next thing is that you can now decide, okay, which tool can I use, right? So if you are not tech savvy, you probably you want a low-code tool, then you can use, like I mentioned, you can use Power Automate. It's a low-code tool. You can use Power Automate, and you can automate. And like I mentioned, you can search. There are a lot of applications that automate daily process already deployed on Power Automate. You can just go there, search it, and you navigate it with little documentations. You can bring any one of them to life, right? You can select your tool. So if you want to use Power Automate, if you want a review, probably document review, you want to schedule your process, you want to set up reminders, you don't want to miss out on any cut date or any important information. Yes, you set that up and that won't work for you. So, but if you have people around you, or probably you have some technical team that can build a simple flow for you using Python. For me, I do more of Python, right? But if you have developers that can build few simple things, right? You just tell them, okay, I just want to automate this and this, right? And I can tell you it is possible. There's one of the feedback I got from a very senior colleague, one of the directors where I currently work, right? And one of the things he do say something. So anytime I go meet him, he says, Edward, that the business does not know what is possible with IT. Right, so the business, maybe the legal team, and that's why we are here, so that we tell you what is possible. Most of the time, you don't know what is possible. You sometimes when they say something, you say, "Are you sure this is possible?" Say, "Okay, yeah, let's give it a try." Like I can tell you, in terms of automation, there's almost nothing. Well, there are things, let me say, so that I won't talk in absolute terms, right? But I can tell you, 60% of your daily activity or routine task can be automated. Maybe we then give the rest 40% to human to handle. But I can tell you, you can do a lot with automation. You can do a lot, because I've tried it. I've built a lot of applications, yes, and like, because I'm interested in the world of AI agents, and I've built a lot. And sometimes I build solutions that I'm even scared of, right? Because I can see that solution even taking my job, because you can automate the task end to end, listen to my emails, and give responses, intelligent response, understand how I talk, give it some knowledge base for it to learn from, and being able to respond with accuracy and efficiency at least 80%, right? So you can select your automation tool, and after selecting it, a pilot is always needed, right? On a single, before you go live, right? You need to have your test phase whereby you test the solution and be sure, okay, is this thing working? Do check all possible bugs. What's the accuracy? You can test it for like 2 days. What is the delivery rate? What is other enhancement that needed to be done, right? And after you've done this, you must also perform what we call the staff training, right? So you must train the user. So one of the setbacks we had when deploying one of the automation solution where I work is that there's a sheet that they are only meant to populate. The sheet is on SharePoint. They are only meant to populate that sheet. So, but one day, one of the staff deleted a column that is very important to the agent or probably to the flow to make use of. And they just come back to tell us that this process is no longer working. And when we investigate, we discover that they've tampered with one of the files that they should only update or populate, right? Staff training is very important when you deploy a solution. So they know the limitations and they don't assume that, okay, it's going to do everything end to end. So they know where they are going to come in. They know where they must perform a second level review, right? So that we don't leave everything. And we keep saying, you never leave everything to any AI agent, right? And from the survey, I can see over 60% of us mentioned that and said, okay, I do use ChatGPT, but under my review, and that is very, very important, right? And that is why we train our staff so that they understand the process, they understand the place that they take responsibility and what the automation can do for them. And with time, right, you can perform what we call you do monitoring, you monitor the performance with time and say, okay, what's the accuracy? Is it fine? Is there anything we need to tweak, right? Because every day the model can relearn if there's other change in pattern, if there's other policy in place, if there's any other regulatory requirement that the model or the system needs to train on, right? So these are things we use in monitoring the performance and also check how updated the knowledge base is, right? And from all I've mentioned, right, we have some key takeaways, right? And that is very, very important to know that, okay, automation saves time. And that's the interesting thing. It saves a lot of time. And that is, and like I mentioned, right, I've saved at least a full man hour for a company, a full man hour, like the 8 to 5 for a whole person, because the person resigned. And the business said, okay, Edward, this person is resigning and you need to take up that role. I took up the role. And what I did is I automated the entire process. And people think I was working, I just stay at home and be chilling. That's the power of automation. It can save you a lot of time, right? And so when you want to start, don't start with the big ones, right? And just start with something simple, like which I recommend, right? Power Automate, you can browse this, check it out. Start with something that is user-friendly, right? Then you can now move to something more a bit advanced, right? And we need to plan to train our staff so that, and with that, we can now scale gradually. And at the end of the day, you can see what automations can do, especially automations backed with some LLMs, right? You can imagine what it can do. You can imagine what it can do, right? And maybe because I'm saying this because I've seen what it can do. And I've done it. It's not theory. We've built a lot of solutions across different departments, and not just the legal where I work, but different departments, and we'll see what automation and especially automation backed with AI, automation backed with LLM. I can tell you it saves a lot of time. It saves nothing less than 80% of time, especially in one of the most recent projects I'm currently working on, right? Yeah, so and one thing is that other thing is that it practically addresses challenges of compliance, because it's you don't miss deadline. You don't miss deadline. You know when to go, you get reminders, you are compliant, because what you are building to the system is so that the system can be compliant, right? And once you've done your pilot test and you're sure that, okay, it is compliant ready, then you deploy and you enjoy the work of automation. And also automation complements legal experts. So it's not going to take away your legal expertise, never, and it can never. And I used to see some funny images of people saying, okay, you think AI will take away your job, and they show some funny images of how AI is failing, right? So human supervision, human oversight is human review is always needed. So automation is always going to complement your work, and it's going to make your work very easy. So I want you to try one today. So today, one of the key takeaway, right? I like action. So see, everything we've said since morning, right? Everything I've mentioned, right? Tell you this, please and please just go online. And I think at the end of this, we're going to share one link. You just have, there's one 60-minute video on Power Automate. Just explore it. Just go there. Just try it. You don't need one big thing. You don't need one big tool. Just go and read it with just like 1 hour or 2 hours investment into learning this tool. I can tell you it can make a whole lot of difference in how you handle your work, right? And yes, so this is the tool. I think I'm going to share. Damilola is going to help me share this link. It's one of the tool, one of the tutorial I see on Microsoft Power Automate that I believe that it can help us. It can help us just read and implement things we've learned, and let's try something. So I want to hope that something I would have loved is that maybe after, I know we are over 300 on this call, after 2-3 weeks, I don't know if Daniela can help me send a survey and ask the question, how many of us have started automating our process, or probably how many of us have started learning something new on how best to automate our process, right? And see, I mean, personally, I'm available, right? I'm available, maybe through Fernandez or through Dami, I can be available, right? But and the reason I'm saying this is that in case you want somebody to guide you, right? Yes, I can be available to walk you through it, to provide guidance, to say, okay, now let's do this way, do this. I can at least do some level of pro bono free consultation, because one thing is that I like people. I don't like we just come and tell stories, and after the presentation, no to do, yeah, we'll just give a round of applause. No, I want to be sure that in the next 3 months, when the survey is going out, at least, I know not all of us, maybe some of us, let's say 30% of us already has automation, but at least if I can see 30% of us pick strong action point out of this session and we've started something, I can tell you I'll be fulfilled and I'll be very, very happy, right? So, and that is 30% of a 30% of about 300 is about 100 of us. So if 100 of us can move from our manual process and we can look into automated solutions, especially that can give us reminders, that can review our documents for us. It's a simple flow from collecting your data, reviewing it, and sending you output. It's just like a 3 major action point. It collects the data from your client, it reviews it, and even like I mentioned, the one we are currently building, it can listen to your email, review it for you, and also schedule a meeting invite for you, and also send you a review of the document. Just see, all those processes can happen in less than 5 minutes. So once you get the mail, probably you get the first mail from your client with the attachment, your AI automated solution picks it up from their review. The second email you are seeing, maybe after 5 minutes, is a review of that document. And you have less work to do, and you can do a further review. And then you provide your service in a more efficient way to your client. And one thing is that your customer will be happy, you make more money, you win more cases, and at the end of the day, you deliver more value to the society. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Edward. Thank you. So first of all, before I start taking the questions in the chat box, the the YouTube video link, can you just share it with me so that I can keep reposting it? Thank you very much. That's number one. You can also post it directly in the chat box in the Zoom meeting chat box, so that I can pick it up from there directly. So, and before we go to the questions, distinguished participants, please look at the comment section. The CPD link for this webinar is going to be reposted several, even while I'm speaking. We'll keep reposting it so that everybody can view. And this is because the link will only be active for the duration of this webinar. After the webinar, the link will no longer be active. So we'll keep reposting the link while I keep speaking. Thank you very much. So Mr. Edward, while we're waiting for you to post the YouTube link for the Power Automate video, so please, the CPD link is there again. So I'm just going to take the few of the questions we have. I'm sure we can take her. So I'm just going to start. So first of all, there's been a request for your slides. People are interested in your presentation. So I don't know if we have your permission. We generally, after every of our webinar, we put out reports, we share reports with our participants. So I don't know if we have your permission to include your slides as part of our post-webinar reports. That's number one.
Well,
okay, thank you very much for that. Yes, okay, so the YouTube video link is already in the comment section. So I'm also going to repost it so that after now, you can copy it into your browser and watch the video to follow up on how to use Power Automate after now. Thank you very much. So I'm trying to look through for the sessions. Yes. Okay, I know somebody asked. I know somebody had asked if there's any automation tool for, yes. Is there anyone available for Google Suite users?
okay, so for Google Suite users, I think that's the current one I mentioned is I'm working with Fernandez on that is going through pilot. So maybe once it's ready, and like Fernandez mentioned, maybe that's going to be some of the benefits for this team. And yeah, maybe when it's ready, when we are done with the testing, then we can share. But I can tell you one is ready, and that can listen to your Gmail, schedule your calendar, and review your document, draft response for you. If you ask it to say, okay, please always respond, give a withholding response, it will always give a withholding response for you. Yeah, so that's on the way. And once it's fully ready, we share. But to the best of my knowledge, I'm not sure there is one like the way we have Power Automate. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. The next question is, so for people who might be interested in reaching out to you after now, can you just type in the chat box, either, I don't know, maybe your LinkedIn address, the easiest way to link up with you after now. So while you're doing that, I'm still scanning for, because I know I saw a couple of questions earlier. So I'm just trying to look through them. Yes, and for our participants who are interested in following up or at their convenience following up on this presentation, please check the MBA SLP YouTube channel. This session and all previous sessions in our tech webinar series, you can find it there. It is on the YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that. Yes, so okay, so someone is saying, is there a type to help read emails? I want to believe that means there an automation tool to help you read emails.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So that's some of the functionalities you get with Power Automate. So and with that, you need to embed Copilot into it, right? You need to embed Copilot into it, and yeah, so it can help you read your email. Yes, but interestingly, so I don't want to speak about those ones we are going through pilot. So those are the pain points we gathered together to say, okay, let's build something for the legal space that would read their email and understand, just automate everything. This for legal, right? So yes, it's possible because we are currently doing something on that. It's 100% possible that will understand, read your email, and yeah, understand the context and also send some information to you. Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you very much for that. So this means if you're not yet a member of the MBA SLP, particularly Technology and Law Committee, well, you might just be leaving money on the table because like Fernandez said, during the AGM, there's going to be access to subscription to one of these automation tools for legal practitioners. So don't wait. Register and become a member of the MBA SLP today and join the Tech and Law Committee. So I'm still scanning for more questions. I'm still scanning for questions, actually. While that is going on, please, the CPD link is going to be reposted. Okay, so someone has a question. Much as the brilliance of your presentation is indisputable, may I ask that beside the human supervision you have suggested, there is no allusion to the nature of our unreliable internet infrastructure and services in affecting the use of automation solution. So I believe this person is talking about the fact that we still have very terrible internet struggle in Nigeria. So what are the legal contractual implications for such disruptions? Okay, well, Mr. Solomon, Mr. Edward, Mr. Layemi is not a lawyer, so he might not be able to answer particularly as to, so I'm saving you from that. You might not be able to answer as to the legal, the reliefs for internet disruptions. So yes. No, somebody is asking, is Microsoft Power Automate available as a free access? No, it's not. It is a, yes, it's a paid subscription service. Okay, so, okay. All right. So far, I'm still scanning through and we are reposting. Okay, so someone is asking, how does the use of AI merge with the correspondence of the Nigerian Data Protection Act? Okay, so my first response to this would be, first of all, we had posted, I'll start with how it merges with your practice as a legal practitioner. We had posted the link earlier for the guidelines, the AI guidelines and other guidelines that have been published and signed by the MBA SLP on the use of technology, cybersecurity, on the use of AI. And that's for legal practitioners because the legal practice is our immediate constituency. Now, particular respect to your question, I believe you're asking particularly on the issue of privacy. And in the course of the presentation, Edward has spoken severally about the need to be conscious of privacy concerns. And in our previous webinars too, like last week, we discussed the data protection impact assessment as it relates to the Nigerian Data Protection Act. So yes, severally, the issue of privacy has been raised again and again. And that is why the issue of human intervention, human oversight in the deployment of AI has been raised severally. That you cannot just leave the system to just run and run how somebody has to be in charge, because you will be the one to bear responsibility for whatever the outcome of that process, even if it's an automation process is. But I don't know if Mr. Edward has any further inputs to make on that question. Okay. Hello? Yes. So I said, I don't know if you have any inputs to make on the issue of AI and the Nigerian Data Protection Act. I know you're not a lawyer, but you play in the privacy space by virtue of what you do with automation.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. PI, yep. So now, and so that is why you remembered the last time I was here, and so for PII data protection, that's why we are going to recommend that if you are building anything, build it in-house. So don't build solutions across the internet, right? If you are building a system, make sure you are building that system within your space, within your network, something you can control. So we don't, if you are exposing any data online, or probably you're using a tool that is available online, be sure to understand their data protection policy, right? And don't share any sensitive data, any PII data. And that is why most of the time, and I know during my last presentation, I mentioned, right, even ChatGPT and all these tools, they will tell you your data are secure. Don't trust them 100%. If there's possibility you build something in-house, please build them. And one of the solutions we are building, we are trying not to use ChatGPT at all, even not to use any of those tools. We are building our own so that we can control it, right? So we can, the best thing is please just keep it in a closed environment that you can control. Anything outside that, I think we might be responsible for any breach of PII data.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for that. So far, I'm not seeing any other question yet. Fernandez, are you still on the call?
Of course.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to know if you have any input to the conversation. Yes, Mr. Edward, we asked for your contact. I'm sure there were one or two people who were interested in following up with you after now. I mean, they want you to work with them on something, either for their private practice, their firm. So the easiest way to access you, email, LinkedIn. Okay, so I can see you just dropped your email address. So I'm going to repost that. So you see why I was saying that, why I was saying that we might have to consider making you an honorary member. You even offering pro bono, like that's really kind of you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have actually exceeded our usual time. And we're grateful to our participants for the sustained interest. Thank you so much. Please, we'll keep reposting the CPD link. The link will only be active for the duration of the webinar. Thank you. Please fill the link before you leave. After the webinar, we might not be taking questions, clarifications, or inputs about the CPD link. Kindly fill the link, and if you're experiencing any challenge filling the link, kindly indicate that while the webinar is ongoing. The high CLE team is on ground to address that. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Edward. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Mr. Olayemi. That's wrong. Thank you, Mr. Olayemi. And I have a feeling you'll be back. I have a feeling you'll be back. You'll be back for another session. I don't know to speak on what yet, but I have a feeling you'll be back. So, okay. So I'm just doing one final check. Okay. So someone, there's a question here from, say, thank you for this ongoing interaction and high opening presentation. Please, what type of Microsoft Word accommodates all this automation under reference? Is there a one-size-fits-all MS Word that can be used for all the automation under discussion? I'm sure that'll be Microsoft Power Automate.
Yeah, so Microsoft Suites can help you, right? So, but keep in mind that within Microsoft Suites, you need to join different end together, right? So if there's a place, and that's why I keep mentioning the engine part of Microsoft Suite for automation, especially AI backed, will be your Copilot license, right? Where you do your review and the likes, right? So, but within your Power Apps, so they call the collection Power Apps. So that is where, so with your Power Apps, you can build your front end whereby you collect your data, it flows that data to a Power Automate, and the Power Automate can trigger an email to you. The Power Automate can connect to Power BI. So within the Power Apps collection, you can complete the entire flow. But the most easiest one, I'm just talking about something simple, is when you start within the space of Power Automate. So for instance, Power Automate can listen to your email, right? You can specify a subject. You can say, okay, when you see this subject, always do activity 1, 2, 3, right? And once it's done, do this and do this, send this mail to this person, right? And I think the first test of Power Automate I did was even birthday reminder, so that even if you have customers and you want, even people in your network space, your space, you want to always automate their birthday messages, Power Automate can do that for you. So like that's as simple and a practical use case. And from your email to action, Power Automate can do that. But if you want other activities that is a bit technical, yes, you can look into other Power Apps, right? But in case you need guidance, because I know there's going to be, most of us are not technical, but I know there's going to be a need to guide, and that's why we're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for being there. Thank you for assuring us that you'll be there. So the final question I'll be taking is, saying, is Power Automate similar to Zapier?
Okay. I've not used Zapier before, right? But let me explain what Power Automate does. And I think so there's not even need for me to explain. Please go and see the video I pasted. I think that will answer the question. So that
okay,
if you've used Zapier before, then you are seeing that. I think just a 15-minute video. I think that will answer the question, because I've not used Zapier before. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So on this note, yes, Fernandez is back for your closing remark.
I mean, this is actually supposed to be a vote of thanks. I'm overwhelmed. I've learned too many things. I'm a tech guy, very serious legal tech. I have an LLM in legal tech, so I'm supposed to be like this thing, and I have experience. I'm on different panels, different IBA, AI task force, MBA, there's African, whatever it is. I'm on everything, but I've learned quite a lot from this session. I really appreciate Mr. Olayemi for taking his time. He's always been handy. Sometimes even when I've told him that to get other people to speak to us, is no problem. We'll get this expert to speak to you on the particular. So I'm thanking him not just for this session, which has been mind blowing, but also for also his assistance generally. I think when we're doing our end of term vote of thanks, I should include his name also. I thank you very much. I thank the secretariat staff for I mean, they don't like to show their face. Fadikemi doesn't like to show her face, but she's been very useful and very important. She's always effective. She's the Michael Ballack of what we've been doing. So I appreciate. I mean, for those of us who are not football fans, we'll go and read about Michael Ballack and his time in Chelsea. I also appreciate Damilola Alabi, who's been very wonderful during this session and throughout all our sessions. She's like, she's the coordinator for the SLP series, and she's doing serious this thing. I'm sure you'll be seeing her names in all our emails, amongst other things. The people who have attended, I mean, at this point, I'm talking, and we still have over 100 people that are in the session. So it's not been over 300 people who are still in the session. It's not been, it shows that I appreciate you people. I thank you very much. Thank you for the attention. Those who have asked questions, those who haven't, I noticed that about, at least from the polls, about 40% of the people here, is it 40 or more? The people who are 16 years and above are actually the highest number of people who are in this session. So I appreciate you all, Leonard Silk, judges, etc. It's not easy. I know you're all very busy. Today is a Thursday. You have to make money. So thank you for joining. Remember, we have sessions, or a session on the 27th around 3 p.m. during the annual general conference in Enugu. And then the next session, the next is our, what do you call it now, our AGM, which is around 9 a.m. the following day on the 28th. Please do well to attend. At this session, we have something, of course, we'll send an email out very soon, but we have something planned for those who attend our AGC session, at least a free subscription, a free time subscription for use of a certain artificial intelligence plugin, not plugin, app. So that will help you with some of the legal tasks that you're doing. So please look out for that and do well to attend. Remember to join the MBSLP. If you haven't joined already, I mean, majority of people that I have joined, but more people can join. We have free sessions for members who are going to be paid for others. We also have other things, other products like the one I mentioned just now, and other things that we're going to do. We're going to all try to make sure that we get discounted prices for the event. We'll send communication as to whether the AGM can be virtual. And it's, that AGM can and should be attended, whether you registered for the AGC or not. It's an AGM. You are entitled to attend the AGM of the SLP as well as the AGM of the MBA, provided you're a member. So you don't, whether or not you register for the MBA GC, you are entitled to attend as a member of either of the SLP and of the MBA. So, well, thank you all very much once again. I don't have any more to say. I have more, but I'm not supposed to say them during this session. So thank you and have a great day.
So thank you so much, Fernandez. Thank you very much. So we're going to give an additional 5 minutes before we end the meeting to repost, especially the CPD link, because I'm still seeing a few questions here and there about the CPD link. So by dropping your email or Supreme Court number or year of call is not how you get the CPD point for joining this session, is by filling the link. So we'll keep reposting the link so that you can fill the link. The link will only be active while this webinar is on. So as soon as the webinar ends, the link will no longer be receiving responses. So please, kindly note that. I'll also be resharing the link to the video on how to use Power Automate. If you want to understand how to work around the Power Automate that Edward spoke about, I'll be sharing the link as well. For those who are still on the call, just look at the comment section, you will find it there. So, and if you fill the CPD link and you have every other link, yes, we are giving you back your Thursday while we try to wrap up this session. So if there's going to be any provision for virtual participation in the AGM, that will be communicated to all MBA SLP members. You don't have to register to attend the AGC to participate in the AGM. The AGM is the annual general meeting of the session, so that's something you're eligible to attend as a member, a financial member of the MBA SLP. Thank you. So yes, we're counting down in another 2 minutes. If you're yet to fill the link, please do that. Thank you all for joining us, and we will be back on the MBA SLP Technology and Law Committee webinar series after the annual general conference. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.